All right.
Hey, Felipe.
It's good.
Let's do a quick introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we were I thought we were recording already. My name is Felipe. You can call me Feli. I love hitting the gym. I'm a crusader myself, and I'm a music producer and soon to be posting up some videos on what we're going to be talking about today, honestly, introspection of the self and, you know, how everything's all connected, man. This is all of this that we're experiencing is just a reflection of ourselves. So,
yeah.
you
I literally said that the other day, word for word. Literally, whatever's
know,
happening externally, you even though you might be like it's some other, it presents itself as like it didn't happen because of me. I was just a witness to it, but almost like you were meant to
yeah,
be a witness to it. It is a reflection of how you are treating yourself. And half the time, if you have any inner frictions with the parts of you and you see other people going through the same shit and you can't empathize because you can't empathize with a part of yourself that's been through that or can't tolerate it, then you start experiencing friction, and it's just an
yep,
externalization of internal friction that you've been having for probably decades. It's just going unnoticed. And that's why I think introspection is such a key part of it. And yeah, dude, we were having this way we met is like in Joseph. So when Joseph was like introduced to the Crusadia, you guys were fucking popping off, like, you know, and after
back to
him,
back.
yeah.
Great. Yeah, yeah, dude, it was crazy, man. I really loved that conversation because he was getting really into it. He was pulling the curtain behind a lot of
Yeah.
things. It could be difficult at first for maybe some people that are just starting to get into this and waking up to themselves. I've been through it all, dude. I'm still experiencing this
Yeah.
too. This is all like a journey that we're all collectively going through, but that's the thing is that this is a collective thing. To your point of what you were saying about how this is all an externalization of the inner self. The truth is that even when things don't seem like they're necessarily aligned with you when you see something happen, like again, I don't know, just an example, like you see someone say it's just something really screwed up to somebody. You're like, dang, like why did I witness that? Or like why did that
Yeah.
happen? A lot of people have this why did this happen to me victim mentality, and some people want to demonize that. I feel like it's a necessary process to go through to then see the other side of things once you've been through it enough and you're freaking sick
Yeah.
of it, where you have this, oh dude, like this happened to me, and like, oh, my life sucks, and like I'm gonna go, do the stuff that I said I wasn't gonna do. It's like, we can easily enter that headspace, but you go through that enough times, it forces you to look at yourself and be like, what the heck is going on? You either have a choice of either choosing to live a life of victim, or you can hit that point, like kind of rock bottom, where you've just been through it way too many times to where you're like, okay, now I need to actually see how am I as the constant variable in all these situations? Because that's the truth. Like, right? Like when we experience some bullshit, the truth is that whether you like it or not, you are the constant variable. You're always the witness. So it's then why what is this trying to show me? Not why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
Yes. It's like what is this trying to show me? And sometimes, you know what? And not even just sometimes, it's really every time. When you notice those types of situations, those sucky situations, whatever it might
Yeah.
be, you have to ask yourself, why does this suck? Why am I labeling this as bad? What is bad? What is good? Because, like I said, my bad might be your good might be my bad. The dragonfly
Yeah.
example, you had a dragonfly land on your head as a kid, and you're like, "Ah," and like you're just like, dude, like I'm freaking out. Meanwhile, I had a good experience with it because it landed directly on my finger and I just didn't know any better. So I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna take it as what it
Yeah.
is. And I had that good experience, you had that bad experience. Even if we were right next to each other in that moment and that happened, you experienced a completely different reality than me. Now you carry this thing inside you and you suppress it about this thing about dragonflies. And now you hate all bugs. And meanwhile, I become like some nature freak
Yeah.
when I'm obsessed with bugs and all this stuff. Every little moment matters. And when you analyze what lens you've been viewing those little moments from, that is where things start to change because it's really consciousness. This is the main point of everything that we do. Consciousness is the biggest variable and the underlying
Yeah.
variable, because if you are aware of how you're perceiving things, the lens that you're wearing, viewing life, if you're aware of how you're viewing life and what your lens has, what stains, what dirt, little particles are on that lens that's distorting your view, instead of just seeing it for what it is. And I say this because it really is malleable to anybody. It depends. Again, it depends on the observer. I'm gonna see something differently than you, and sometimes we can't help it because it's just our subconscious that's like, okay, well, I understand this to be this, and I understand that to be
Yeah.
that, and our egos and our minds try to make sense of this material world that, I mean, quantum physics is starting to point at that
Yeah.
it doesn't really exist, but like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we can get into that
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of just like going one by one here.
Yeah.
I think that it's just really important to introspect within yourself. Look at your internal universe, the universe inside you. That's what it's
Yeah.
about. Is that it's not just, oh, what's outside of me and all this stuff. Let me map out my inner self, because then you start to see yourself within your external reality through people, situations, things, all this
Yeah.
stuff is one way or another connected to you, because we're all just atoms at the end of the day, dog. Like
100%.
that's just the truth.
100%.
We're all vibrating at a certain level of, or operating at a certain frequency, vibration, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it. Like that's what all of this is. And because it's all, we're all just atoms doing this, your perception dictates how much on a high frequency you are, or on a really low frequency that you are. And then because everything is that, it responds to your frequency or vibration. And this is quantum physics. That's the part that I love about this, because it's not just, oh, some woo woo talk, or like, oh, he's tripping. Yeah,
Especially
I'll
like you
pause
don't
there.
know what the reality is until it's observed. That's the big
Mhm.
part. We live in this assumption land half the time of we don't actually observe the feeling with that are happening within us. So a lot of times, let's just say you hate something. You don't go there and observe that feeling as it comes up. We're in anticipation of things. And like this is how we kind of like limit our potential. This is how we do expectations, how it weighs on us, is it creates a box around us, right? Like people have expectations that you're this way, one that way, coming from parents, people you respect, your friends, right? And then it creates this thing where it's just like we are in such a prediction model that we don't know what it is until it's observed. You know what I mean? That,
Mhm.
and so we have to go to that point where these things do rise up and you do feel physical sensation or external realities, and then you have to observe it. And then, as you say, contemplate, think deeply about where this is linking to your psyche. At what point does it lead to certain things, certain decisions you've made, certain things you stand for, principles? I think, and half of it is unconsciously made patterns that have existing dragonflies. Are you able to go in? That's your assumption that you hate dragonflies and you have this thing that comes up. Are you able to go in and look at it? Look at that feeling that emerges, being able to stay with it. It's like you can't really avoid your fears. The more you run away, the more you suppress, the further they multiply. Because the deeper you push into your subconscious, the more power you give it.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's this gross overreaction to some shit that you push so deep down that that actually becomes your kind of Achilles heel. That becomes your main
Yeah.
point of weakness because you can't go there to observe it. And if we just are in
Mhm.
assumption land of we're just assuming that things are going to happen, we're assuming this is going to happen, if we're assuming bad things are going to happen if I actually put my dreams out there. I think half the reason people may not be inclined to pursue their dreams is I know I'm going to fail. Bad shit's going to happen. And they start listing out percentages being like 80%, dude, 80%,
Yeah.
90% of entrepreneurs fail. But that's
Right.
not, you're choosing things to compromise on because they don't, you're choosing to do things that don't align with yourself, that don't align with where you want to go, or who you want to be, where you want to develop to. And it becomes this clusterfuck of fear, ambition, drive, and also desperation. There is a part of desperation of I want to be this person. I want to be able to express my authentic self, but I'm so afraid of people rejecting that me. And then I'd have to make these difficult decisions about living in isolation or God knows where your head's going to go.
Yeah.
It's about getting to that point. And I feel like that's what we do more and more of in present day because we have access to so much information that we think we can predict our own future. Like,
Yeah.
what's going to happen if you start posting on social media? Like, how many people are actually creating? And when they're creating, how much of that creation process is coming from things that they authentically feel they want to share, they want to express? How much of it is to just try to appear a certain way or to
Go ahead. Yeah.
it's what's the root of the issue here is like we have to be able to have inner strength to go and observe these things that are difficult for us. And I think, dude, things that are good for us are harder to observe than things that are bad for us. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's the next level. First level is you address everything bad. And next is how do you not, you're achieving success, but how do you not get high off of that? Like Rami's thing of don't get high off your own stuff. It's like, how do you stay grounded when you're trying to move forward and people are appreciating you? It's just their version of you, just like how the dragonfly is, but this time you're the dragonfly.
I was just gonna say that, dude. That's why I freaked out
Yeah.
earlier, because it's like, people will hold, well, first of all, yes, people will, you can be the dragonfly, people, and
Yeah,
you are, people will hold you to, they will, somebody will hold to a freaking version of yourself that existed 3 years
dude.
ago and still think that's
Yeah.
you. and and hey, look,
Yeah.
compassion. I feel I at that point I can only feel compassion for someone that still decides to hold on to a past version of myself, because number one, they're not here to actively observe me. Number
Yeah.
one, number two, somebody, and the thing is, this is the point I was going to try and say next. People will only be able to understand you at the level that they understand themselves. The thing is, it's all, again, the baseline of this entire reality is
Yeah.
consciousness. So if someone's consciousness is just at a certain level, I don't like to say that someone's higher or lower than anybody, but what I'm trying to say is that level of awareness. How tuned in are you to your own inner world, therefore being able to be tuned in on the
Yeah.
external? So how tuned in are you and dialed in on yourself? Because the more dialed in you are on yourself, the easier it is for you to not immediately judge somebody, or not immediately, oh, yeah, Felipe is freaking weirdo because 2 years ago he did
Yeah.
this. If you can understand that, okay, I haven't talked to Felipe or whoever in X amount of years, but I'm sure that he's probably changed the same way that I
Yeah.
have, because that's just the truth. We have to have compassion for other people.
Space. It's
Yeah,
space for another person when you're trying to engage with them or when you're doing it. If you can't hold space for like their betterment or whatever they have to express, it happens in every dynamic. Is sometimes
yeah.
people have no space internally for another person's thoughts, their experience. And so what happens is then you're just about expressing yourself. It's like a deterministic conversation. Talking to a robot at that point would be very similar, because it's give and take, transactional. And then I think, as you said, as we are able to embrace higher versions of ourselves, and I think that's part of it. Is it's not higher, or lower inherently, right? It's where they're at. As if
Yeah,
people talk to me then, they wouldn't see me the same way that they see me now.
right.
And then I think the only thing that I can say has changed is the ability I have to hold space for another person and see them where they're at right now.
And
Yeah.
notice,
And I think that makes the huge difference of like, that's what makes people feel understood. And
yeah,
otherwise, I think you can talk to people, you can express yourself with them, but you never really get the concept that they understand what you're going through. And they're all
mhm,
about like me, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just like that's where it's coming from. It's about how can they feel like they're a good person and how they're going to respond to it. And you can feel that in their response.
yeah.
Processing it, just I don't know what to say, like other than like the vibe of it, but it really does feel different. Yeah.
Energy.
Yeah.
Dude, feel the energy, because that's a real thing. Everything's energy, frequency, vibration. Go read some quantum physics if you want to learn more. This is the fundamental basis of our reality. So, being able to lean in intuitively and feel how someone is delivering a response to you and really analyzing, did you really analyze what I said to actually give a coherent response,
Yeah.
or are you just listening to then just speak your mind because you really haven't been feeling heard or seen for X amount of time, so you're just projecting that outward,
Yeah.
right? And that's the thing, that's that tandem
And can they
dynamic
open
where
up
it's like,
about that?
okay,
They haven't been able to do that. And rather than just cover it up.
yeah,
That's another layer on top
right,
of it.
just cover
Yeah.
it up, which ultimately is running away from
Yeah.
self, and that's a thing that people do.
Yeah. At some point in their life.
Full transparency, sometimes I still go through
Yeah.
it. There's been situations that have come up in my life recently where it's like, okay, this is a moment where you would usually people
Yeah.
please. Are you going to do it again? And this is what the universe
It
does, is
tests.
that it will literally, you're not freaking ready for it. You're doing your thing, you're like, I'm getting, look at these gains, you know what I mean, going crazy in the gym. And all of a sudden, boom, a freaking situation comes up where someone asks you to do something, or like, you know, how many more sets you got left, when you get that feeling like, oh shit, I gotta hurry up or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. Going back to what you were saying earlier about being like, posting stuff on social media. I had this thought today too, where I saw somebody recording themselves in the gym, and all good. That's cool. But it was like a thought in my mind that came up, and it was like, I wonder if that person, and this is just speculation, not
Yeah.
judgment, but it was like, I wonder if said person was recording themselves and doing this for themselves because they want to appreciate themselves, or is it because they're trying to do a thing on social media and get big, or maybe they're already big on social media, or are they just doing it, are they into the career of recording themselves and posting it on social media because they just want to do it because everybody else is doing it, or is it because they truly want to
Yeah.
do it? This is the introspection that I'm talking about, where you can ask yourself all these different questions to really assess if you're just living in the matrix or just doing what everybody else is
Yeah.
doing, or if you're being authentic to yourself and doing what really calls to you, even if it means that other people are not going to like it, if it means that it's not the way that society does it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Analyzing your viewpoint, the lens that you're wearing, as to what am I even really doing here? Am I just another doll on the freaking conveyor belt here in the factory?
Yeah.
What is it that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis? Am I living to my most authentic self? And if not, there's nothing wrong with it. At least you've observed it.
Yeah.
What can I do from here? What reality can I then shift to? That's what reality shifting is. It's like, okay, I make this decision. I'm now pivoting this way. I'm not pivoting the way that I was gonna
Yeah.
go. And that's a micro shift. People underestimate that, bro.
The growth.
I,
That's the
I,
key to growth too.
Mhm.
Because it's like if
Yeah,
I want to be like this, but I'm like I can't be honest with myself about it, I'm just gonna always stay there. I'm always gonna be pretending my inner self is just either gonna degrade or stay at that inner state, like the part that is feeling these things, right? So if I really just care about getting attention on social media, I got to be honest with myself more than anyone else. I got to be like, okay, I'm just doing this to get attention. I'm not going to fucking play it up and just be like, no, I'm doing this so I can educate people. It's like, but education's not even on my mind. Like 90% of the time, I'm always thinking about like, how can I get more clicks? How can I get more attention? If that's really the case, then that's you, bro. That's where you're at. And if you can't
yeah.
embrace
There's nothing wrong with that.
exactly, so it's like just being there. So if you want to get to a certain level, you got to be where you're at right now. Always
Mhm.
exist in the future or the past. That's
Those
not
are
what
illusions.
reality is happening. Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
so you don't actually experience true growth. You might be like, oh, I'm trying to be this person. It's never going to progress to your real true growth where you have change of idea, change of thoughts. That kind of change will only come from being in the present long enough so you can see yourself
Yep.
change. Because
And
because your thought
yeah,
pattern, you will still get shitty ideas. You will still get this imposter syndrome of like, man, everyone now sees me as a teacher figure, but at the end of the day, in my core, I feel like I just care about clicks. I can just care about their attention. So I'll just now like super double down on the fact that how can I get more of that?
yeah.
Yeah,
No, you're cooking. Like I'm eating it
yeah,
up, man. You know what I mean? Like it's that's it. To kind of go off that
yeah.
point, right? Because it's like, and Joseph, when Joseph was speaking and he was saying that he has like, he's just like speaking, and I'm feeling the same way. Like anything that I'm saying right now, it's
It's
just coming
channeled,
up.
bro.
It's just,
I don't know.
I have like 3 million thoughts in my head right now, but then I can only say like a few
I know
things.
what you mean.
When people are trying to always live in this future mindset,
Yeah,
they're running away from now. What's that mean, bro? Why are you running? Why are you running? You know what I'm
yeah,
talking about? Why the heck are you running, man?
yeah,
Like, and that's the point of introspection in itself, is like, okay, I want to have X amount of likes. I want to have X amount of views, this, that, and the
yeah,
third. And then you don't have that now. You're acknowledging, number one, that you don't have that
yeah,
now. Number two, you're constantly pushing for something that you currently don't have. Therefore, you're putting out the waves, the frequencies, the energies of
yeah,
lack because you don't have it. And when you keep doing that, the universe is like, so you don't have it. Bet I got you. I'm going to give you the same thing that you keep affirming, and I'm not going to give it
yeah,
to you. I, meaning you, because what's within, as within, so without, as above, so below. Whatever's inside comes out on the external. So if you keep having that idea of lack, 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 I need to change, change, change. I need to not be here
yeah.
now. I need to be somewhere else. You're taking away the power of now, because that's the only time space dimension that ever exists. It's just
Because that's
now.
where your consciousness
And
is.
that's where you're,
Is like if we were
yeah, yeah,
multi-conscious beings where we can exist in multiple places at the same time and experience all of it at once, I'm sure everything would be fine. But we're not. We can only experience right now.
technically,
You know what I mean?
yeah, well, yeah, you can only experience right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, about projecting your
Yeah, yeah.
consciousness to different places, aka remote viewing, lucid dreaming, or even just dreaming. Your
But that's where
consciousness
you're
goes
at
somewhere
though.
else when you're
That's what I'm trying to say. Even
right.
in that
Even then,
context, that's
that's
where you're
it.
at.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
To it.
And so it's the question as to why, again, like the meme, why are you running? It is just a question to ask yourself. There's nothing bad about it. It's just a question to ask yourself what you're resisting. What is it that you, in this current moment, that you are not okay with yourself
Yeah.
in? Like, why? Those are the things that people, I know tons of people, and all love and compassion, because again, dude, like, why am I experiencing that, right? It's also a mirror back to
Yeah.
me. have to, okay, like what's going on? So I see that people, and including myself, where I would affirm to myself that, nah, dude, I'm not good right now in this moment because of something external. That like something external is like, oh, well, I don't have this, or why have I not healed from
Yeah.
this? And it's just like being easy on yourself and like
I see that with guys a
in the
lot.
moment,
Just beating themselves
yeah,
up
dude, no,
about like that's how I
dude, I
operated
know,
for
man.
like it's just like every time I can't push myself, I just like shit talk myself enough to like move. And that just leads you
Hmm.
because the thing is you can like if you have a broken leg, you can push yourself to take one more step, one more step, one more step. But until you can wait and let it heal, you're never going to be able to take a future step without pain. You know, that's kind of the thing. If you got to acknowledge that you got a broken leg, you got to do the right actions for having a broken leg. Being
Yeah,
aware of what's going on right now is so important because when you think about the future so much, it kind of blinds you to what is important in life, what isn't. And you kind of numb all the senses you have right now.
yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, that's another part of it. And also, dude, we got to talk about ourselves. The whole point of this podcast is one, giving advice, but to see who you are. We don't have,
Dude, we got so into it, man.
dude, but it's
Oh
so
my
exciting
gosh.
though. I'm really glad I found someone that's into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So what do we want to know? What's
Start
the
with
deal here?
like, I don't know, dude, where are you at right now? Fucking
Yeah.
it's the moment, so just
Yeah, dude. So I'm actually in North Carolina now. I moved from Florida after living there for 25 years.
shit.
I was so ready to get out, man, just because I needed a new environment. I needed time alone to really face myself and like my things that I had going on for me, my tribulations, my outlook on myself, like those types of things. And it's funny because there was a lot of reflections and lessons when I lived down there with friends, family, which ultimately again pointed towards myself, right? So I just wanted to learn about myself on a deeper level. I loved Florida for what it was. I lived in South
Yeah,
Florida. I lived in Boca Raton for most of my life. I lived in Coral Springs for 5 years. My 954 Broward people know what I'm talking about. Then there was Boca Raton. And then I lived with two of my friends in an apartment in Boynton Beach from like 2023 to literally this past March.
yeah,
I decided to move up here because it was just a lot quieter. It was just slower. I'm usually a very fast paced guy too. I love working out and just doing fast activities. I love to surf
yeah.
too. So, like, and of course, music too. So, and music out in Florida it's a really good hub too for music. And so I got into it with a few artists down there.
Producing music and shit.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of a crazy story, man. The earliest memory that I have of music was actually when I was in preschool. I don't know how my memory goes back that far, but it does. I remember I was in the back seat in this little car seat, right? And my mom was playing some song, and I remember kind of drumming along to it on my legs or whatever. Or like I would have those little trays that they have for the car seat where you can eat your food and stuff. I would just like, be tapping and tapping and tapping. And music was just very very like mathematical. The timing of music always appealed to me. And I mean that also goes into like my OCD. It's just a thing, man. And I didn't know until recently that I had that, but it makes sense because it's very in tandem with music for me. So very timely, very mathematical, I guess you could say. That's the best way I can explain it. And so when I was around, I really started to get into music when I was in middle school. I was 10, 11, and I was really into Skrillex. This was the
Oh
Skrillex era.
shit.
He was crazy. I was like, dang, how does he make this music? And I watched a documentary, and he's like, he makes it in his apartment. And I tried to start producing my own music in Ableton. That's a music interface or like a program for people that don't know what I'm talking about. But Ableton, it was a really complex software. It was way over my head at the
Yeah.
time. I was super into technology too, and I still am. I love Apple products and the whole Apple ecosystem. I used to work there actually. So music and technology, they go hand in hand nowadays with everything being on the computer. You could make music with an instrument, but I never even really gravitated towards real instruments. Like I remember trying to do
Shit.
piano, and yeah, dude, it was weird. Like I just would look at these like music sheets and I'm like, dude, I don't want to freaking look at that, man. I just didn't want to do it. I tried. And my mom was like, you gotta try. I wouldn't do it. And dude, then I got into
Oh,
DJing.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it was this app called DJ back in the day on like on your phone or your iPad or whatever. And I would just like learn how to mix songs together, and I started to get good at that. And I did that for a little bit. And then when I was like, I think it was what, like I was 14, I got this program called FL Studio, which is
Oh. But
Fruity
I think
Loops.
I'm not too sure.
You heard
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot easy. It's like Ableton, but it's easier to use and like to get into. So I made a few beats, some really bad ones, like just really crappy beats. But it was just, I was just
yeah, yeah,
learning, and I just started to hear music, man, before like it would even come out. Like before I would start making it, I would just start hearing stuff, and then as I got used to
oh,
learning how to use the
yeah,
software and getting into it, it started to come together. And yeah, dude, I think, yeah, my real, like when I really started producing music, I was 14. And then, yeah, I've been doing it since. And it's funny because it kind of goes into what we were talking about before. I only just started releasing my music now because I had a fear of being seen for a
yeah,
long time.
yeah,
So I'm now releasing music that's like, I made it back in 2018 and I'm just releasing it
yeah,
now.
yeah,
So it's like I just petrified. And now I'm just gonna put it out there,
yeah, yeah.
and whoever resonates, whoever likes it, does. It's more of like a let me do this for myself, for my inner child. Let me do it just because, like, for the love of
Yeah.
music, man. Like that's it.
Greater
Click
agenda
my
kind of
video.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no like hidden agenda. Like, yeah, shoot, I would love for people to view my music and rack up the views, but like it's not the love
Dude,
for it,
you gotta, if you haven't, talk to Will. Yeah,
Okay.
he raps and he's just starting to release his music too. And he got signed or something. I
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck's happening. I just heard it like on the post, but dude, you gotta talk to Will. He's really into music as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Definitely. Yes, dude. Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
will, man. I mean, that's the thing. I'm trying to lock in on more of the networking stuff. I've been
No,
doing it
passion,
most of
man.
the time.
It's like I know I
Yeah.
understand where you've been, where you're like you can start here. You're so obsessed with it, you can start hearing it, and you just your mind is your subconscious is like still experimenting. The experiment's still going on of like what's gonna work, what's gonna feel
Mhm.
good, and you're really like like I don't know, obsessed feels like the right word.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like you're driven to do. You just gotta you're driven to do it,
Yeah.
and I was like that when I was like, it's around, for me, it was around like thinking or philosoph like what's the bigger meaning of life? And I just kept thinking, and I was just seeing like my dreams for literally 8 months. My dreams were all around, it would pick up where my conscious mind left off. And I would just dream, I'd come back. And I didn't know what the fuck was happening.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'd go home from school and I'd eat something shitty.
Yeah.
Lock myself, read something. I don't know if people know what that is, but it's just like,
I don't think so.
or I just
But
like be in a daze just thinking about these things. And some of these things would feel so insightful. The feelings behind them, the emotions were just like awe-inspiring. It's like I discovered like a whole new world. It started, I think, more from ninth grade. I'm like, man, I think I can do something big. I wanna, and then I'm trying to think deeper, like, what are my intentions? And they were just like mixed with depression in a way. Cause like I think a couple years later I hurt my back. So I couldn't do all the things I loved physically. So then it's just like, fuck, how do I deal with this new step? And then there's this like entry exit, like all these inner waves like crashing. And it's just like I feel
yeah.
that's sort of
Wow.
resonant with what you're going through in
Good
terms
for
of
you.
like music that
Oh
you
yeah.
felt when you're going through that. That's why I feel like I understood you at
You
some
know,
level. Yeah.
dude, I saw it already. I knew you connected with what I
Yeah.
was saying. I could just tell. But thanks for sharing that too, dude. I really resonate with that. But what came to me just now was like I just heard this right now is that energy's
Mhm.
energy. Good, bad, it's still
Yeah.
energy. Like baseline level, it's still energy. And for example, when you broke your
Back.
back,
I hurt my back.
it
Yeah.
was your back. Okay. What part of your back? Was it upper,
It was
lower?
lower back. L3, L4, the disc, it herniated. So then like this
Dude,
like paralysis effect on my right leg. So I was just like limping for like 2 years or some shit.
2 years?
Yeah, sure. It was first 6 months. It was obvious, and then later I was trying to disguise it. It becomes part of the way you walk, but it's shooting pain
Mhm,
every time. So then I
mhm.
like before I was swimming, doing water polo for at least 2, 3 hours a day, every day, except
Wow.
for maybe Sunday,
Yeah.
Sunday. But then I'm like
Yeah.
gym or trying to do sit ups or something where I can elevate to the next level. Everything
And
broke in
that's
one
the thing.
day.
Oh,
Yeah,
God. Nah, my friend's dad went through something similar, so I think I get
yeah,
it,
yeah.
man.
It's a whole
But
story.
that's the thing is that, it's the thing with that is though, is that it was just like for me, my music and not wanting to put it out there
Yeah.
because people would be like, whoa, how's the little music thing
I
going?
would
And
what
it
I was
was
doing.
reflecting.
Remember I went in my room and thought? I never shared that with anyone.
Yeah.
Couldn't. So that's why I felt so
Yeah.
like resonant. The thing I would share
Mhm.
is I'm a funny guy that does stupid shit. That was my persona at
Yeah.
school. And so it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
when people see depth, then they want to challenge it.
Mhm.
Important to me for people to challenge. Feel
Yeah.
safe putting in other people's hands.
And people judge what they're afraid
Yeah,
of. Because I mean, like that's the truth, like it's like people don't want to usually get that deep because that means they got to face themselves and all their shit.
100%.
And so, to just kind of go off of the point that I was trying to say before was that, the mental pain or the mental stress, the physical stress
Yeah,
too, but those things, the feelings that we feel from that, as negative as it was, is still energy that was used and alchemized one way or another on my end and on your end to be the people that we are
yeah,
now. And sure, maybe we could have been a higher or better version of ourselves, but can't get lost in the
yeah,
speculation. It's still
yeah.
now. And dude, I don't know if we would be talking if I hadn't gone through my experience
Same.
of fear of being seen. Or even you had that kind of fear of being seen for your true authentic self because you didn't want to show that to people because they'd be like, look at you. And it was just like all these profound things that now you're talking about it. We're literally having a conversation about it because you, through those experiences, were like, all right, man, but I already been through
Yeah,
that yin and yang. I already been through that side. Now I'm on this side. You experience the other side. Yeah, it's a
yeah.
pendulum thing, bro. That's the key word.
What happened after
Yeah.
on your journey?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah. I
where do we leave off?
think you were
So
15. You
where,
were
where do we,
starting this DJ app. Yeah.
so no, then I started making
Hmm.
beats, and yeah, dude, I this was one of the biggest catalysts for me that also kind of made me shy away. So then I started in high school. I started to post my stuff on
Oh
SoundCloud, right?
shit,
All
son.
this, yeah, I started to post my stuff on SoundCloud, and there was this music club that was started. It was called Producer Club or something. That me, my teacher at the time, and another friend of mine, we started this producer club. And then this one other guy that I'm friends with still to this day, but he was also a
Yeah.
producer, and he's pretty big now
Oh
too.
shit.
Yeah, he's pretty big now. But I remember he told me he was like, "Dude, you inspired me to do this." That's another thing. You don't know who you're
Yeah.
inspiring, bro. You don't know who's observing you and your actions,
Yeah.
um, which could influence their decisions, good or bad, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, so he was also going to the same school as us. And so I remember one day, bro, this is what really put me away. Because for some people, it would do the opposite effect. But for me, it put me in this direction where there was an advertisement for this, it's called Studios Club. That's what it was called.
Hmm.
And they would do the school announcements or whatever. And it was an advertisement on the announcements of the Studios Club. And they were playing my beat, right? They were playing my beat.
Yeah.
But then they put the other guy's name instead of mine because I guess the teacher got confused because we were
Oh,
working all with each other, like we were all collaborating and all this and that, you
dude.
know. And dude, I was sitting there and I was pissed. Like I was just like, they ripped my song, and it wasn't even like Sony Records or
Yeah.
nothing. It was just my
Slip
school.
up. Yeah.
And dude, for all I know, maybe, I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe the other person's need to be seen was that high. I don't know, whatever. The point is that that moment was like big turning point for me where I was like, nah, y'all don't even want to like, I put my music out there. Y'all don't appreciate it. Keeping it to myself. And that's what I did for the longest time. I think I remember one of the beats that I had posted on SoundCloud, some dude, some YouTuber reached out to me and he asked me if I could use it. I was like, all right, sure,
Yeah.
whatever. And that one blew up. That was a cool feeling, but I also had like this kind of melancholic feeling where I was like, whatever, man.
You don't want to get
Like,
attached to it because you don't want to experience the same
I
fucking
don't want
shit that you did back then. I,
right.
I know. I get
But
you.
then,
Yeah.
dude, yeah, I mean, you called it out. I know you
Yeah.
know, and you embodied that because you called it out exactly for what it was. And it's funny because that served me. That served me because I look back at it now and I'm like, okay, well, detach from
Hmm.
attachment. That was the message for me was detach from attachment. Whatever you expect things to be, how you want to receive things, let it be. And you're chilling because it's not that I don't want like success for myself or anybody else, but it's like it was the process. And I always enjoyed the process of making music versus like look at
Yeah.
me. Look at me. Look at my music. Go play it and run up the views. Like for me, it's like, and that experience put me in that mindset, but I don't see it negatively anymore. I just see it for the core lesson that it was
Yeah.
showing me. And so that was a really big turning point for me. So then and that's the thing is that affected me for a while, bro.
Yeah.
Like
I can see why.
I,
In a way where you reacted, it made sense to me. You're creating from the heart. You don't
Mhm.
want that to be tainted.
Yeah.
Yourself is by withdrawing. Because what is the worst thing than that happening? Is that it destroys your motivation to create.
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
instinctually you knew better. Like some part of your subconscious brain knew better, and it protected itself because it knew what it is, even if it doesn't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And so I think that what happened
Yeah.
is just almost like perfect design for you to protect yourself and feel safe so you can continue to create from the heart.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
recognized it legs might be broken and it decided to take a break. Because it knew if you
Yeah.
pushed it, you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna ignore the fact that this happened, I'll still go. And you just feel your heart being ripped to pieces because the more you're every time you put that shit out there, you're like, someone's gonna fucking rip it. Someone's gonna take it off. And then you might be like, I'm gonna make my music shittier so that people might not do it, or I might do this instead. I might morph it in some way that's not authentic to what I want to express.
For me, I just wouldn't even release it, bro.
Exactly. So that's like a
I wouldn't even
super
release it.
smart decision. From I'm just trying to contextualize it where it's not even a bad thing.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. You
Yeah.
see it. You see it. Yeah, it was like and it wasn't. The thing is that I had such an on and off energy,
Yeah.
bro, with it. It was like, oh, I remember I would do this sometimes. Where I'll post like a snippet of it on social media or something, like a snippet of it,
Yeah.
and like I would notice that like subconsciously I was looking to see who would actually appreciate it because for me music is very close to the heart for me. So it's like if I put something out there that I made and I share it with others and there was a part of me that was looking to repair or appreciate it from the source versus who you think it's from, I would keep it to myself because I felt like if I would put it out there, no one would appreciate it. But meanwhile, it was really a reflection for me of do you already appreciate yourself and your
Yeah.
artwork?
But
I had like this just weird dynamic
it's
with it,
not
you
weird,
know?
dude. It's like wanting to,
Yeah,
it's like, let's just say you saw a fucking amazing thing happen in the world and you want to share that with other
yeah,
people. Like you genuinely have, I think when you create from the heart, you think like, this is fucking amazing. I want to share this. There's
mhm,
this energy to, I want to spread the love kind of a thing. It's like, I want to share this with other people. And you observe
mhm,
to see like, can other people feel what this is? And
yeah,
then you take it upon yourself to be like, I didn't do a good job or I didn't do it justice or
yeah,
I understand what you mean. It's like this thing of validation. Why isn't this energy so powerful? Why aren't people being attracted? There's something wrong with this. And you can't let that go in your
right,
head. It's like, man, what's, you know? And so then it just fucks with you mentally. And then it almost like lowers the vibration level you create
yeah,
is
dude, oh
you're
my
like
gosh, yeah,
incubating, dude. The reason your decision was so smart is you're incubating it. You're increasing your internal vibration. I don't know what the better word, dude. It sounds like I'm saying we're
no, but it's
raising,
what it
yeah, your
is.
internal vibration to create from a higher place, not from fear, not from
Mhm,
desperation, not from anger, not from guilt, not from shame, but like from acceptance,
right.
love, peace, or
Like
yeah, dude.
yeah, I shut off the whole okay, because in my mind, I'm like, well, I convinced myself, like, oh, they don't really appreciate it anyway. I'm gonna
Yeah,
appreciate it, and then that rewired it because you see that was a catalyst for me to actually rewire the mechanism in my mind that was thinking that way. I rewired it where I'm like, okay, no, I'm creating from the heart, and I appreciate the music that I make, whether she likes it or
yeah,
not. So then now, when I release my music, I don't release it with the are they gonna like
yeah,
it? Like, nah, dude,
yeah,
here you
yeah,
go. Here you go. Like I love you, dude. Oh, you don't like it? I love you,
yeah,
bro. That's how I feel. And I couldn't, I don't, I maybe I could have gotten that way. I could have gotten there maybe through another
yeah,
path, but all I know is this is the now, and that's how I
yeah,
got there. So yeah, dude, that's just so crazy, man. And that was really from 2018 to now,
yeah,
or like 2023 was when I was like, screw it, dude. Like I was just like, I'm gonna just put it out there. And during that time that I wasn't really putting my music out there, I was also just going through a whole ton of other stuff too. So it's
yeah,
like it reflects. And so it's cool though. That's what leads me to where I am now. And I'm grateful because now I've aligned myself on a frequency, on a vibration. Again, woo woo. Quick little
yeah,
synchronicity. I used to be so obsessed with Pop Smoke, rest in peace, with Pop Smoke in particular. And it was funny because it was like alluding to the path that I was gonna get on because he was always saying like woo 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 shit. And I didn't understand that at the time. But then like come to it now where I've started to understand my inner world and understand, I love saying understand instead, understand the dynamic on how we all play these roles to create the human consciousness, the collective consciousness. When I started to understand that, it all clicked to me. And then I started to look back and see all, like you were saying before we started recording, and I wish we had that part recorded, where you look back, you do like a little quick turnaround, and you see that you were always on the
yeah,
path the entire time. you've always been found, you've never been
Yeah.
lost. Like there's little things, little breadcrumbs, little snippets that allude, the synchronicities that allude to you already being there. And it's just, this is the stage that you're in now. Here's the, and not
Yeah.
linearly.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not
The whole
linearly.
path is off the charts. Like you could be blowing up any second and you wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
Like, and you, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And not even just on a, oh, blowing
not
up
yet.
on social
Yeah. I'm
media,
not
but I
in
mean,
general, like growth.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
you're not.
No, no, no. Thanks for
Yeah.
that. Clarifying. I completely get it.
I
Yeah.
mean, even I thought of it for a quick second where I'm like, nope, that's not what I mean, you know?
Yeah.
So catching yourself, but yeah, it's never linear, but it's like one way or another, you're gonna end up where you need
Yeah.
to be. That's the most beautiful part. And here I am now. So yeah, that was really, and the funny thing is too is that I always had a fear for not only being seen but vulnerability, and me even just telling this story right now, like I haven't really told a lot of people that journey that I had been through of with my music and how that related to me and how my internal state, like I never really talked about that, and not a lot of people know
Yeah.
that, which is funny. So it's like I've been feeling called to tell my story one way or another. I actually felt that way in the gym earlier today and the other day. It's like, oh, and we're gonna have our call today and talk about this
Yeah.
stuff. You see, it all lines up. So yeah, that's where I'm coming from, and I don't know, I'm just glad to be here. I guess I don't know, like that's all I gotta say.
I mean, you got to open up about this stuff because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's part of who you are.
Hmm.
And not even exposing that facet, but I think there's a power in voicing things that really thinking just doesn't have. And for
Hmm.
me, it's that when I have certain thoughts, it's hazy for me to say, are they true? Are they not? Or do they feel resonant? Are they not? But when I say it out loud, it amplifies that effect where I can feel it very strongly to the point where I can feel it in my body. Like
Hmm.
every time I say something I don't believe in, I feel like I have a shitty, guilty emotion within my body, within my
Not
system.
speaking the truth.
Exactly. And then so
Yeah.
it clears something, especially about my past, especially about being able to speak authentically. I think that's why I even started this thing. It's like, I feel like there needs to be a place where we can speak authentically about our past experience. Because like, when will we speak about it? We'll speak about it in context.
Yeah.
We'll speak about it in context, and you know what they want to hear. You kind of know, like, if someone asks you
Hmm.
that, the answer they expect. The answer, like, if you're going to a job interview, like, why should we hire you? It
Yeah.
means you can't be yourself. You can't be like, there's depth to this shit.
Yeah.
You're only going to give them one dimension. And some certain part of you starts thinking in that dimension way more and more. And it suppresses all the other important things about you, how you
Yeah.
got there,
It's
motivation. So I think this is the conversation, and we got to keep this going, man. Learn how to
I
speak with our heart open, think about
yeah.
ourselves, and we're not shying away because that's going to be like
Yeah.
the undeniableness of it is just going to come across.
It's about freeing yourself from the box that you created from yourself, whether it's from the external because someone said something and you went through the experience one way or another. It was already inside of you. You saw that outside of you. Now that situation then reflected back to you and made you feel this way. That not to gaslight yourself, but it's more of
Yeah,
like taking the accountability of your reality too, because the more you put your power outside of yourself, you keep yourself in that box and you can't break out of it. You're constantly putting your power out, like, I'm like this because of
yeah,
this, and I'm like that because ultimately we also are a lot of times suffering at our own hand. We don't remember that. We wear that lens for such a long time that it feels like that's just what
yeah,
it is. Like if I were to just put like some crazy MetaQuest 2 like 5 glasses on you. I know those are not even real yet, but like
yeah,
let's just say like super ultra realistic. I just put them on you, and then after a while you forget that you even have them on, and you're convinced that what you're seeing is actually just how it is, and nothing's gonna
yeah,
change. Like a lot of people live in that dimension of consciousness, and it's like we have to remember who we truly are too, and what we can actually do. And there needs to be like the space that we need to have to speak about these things like we're doing right now. I mean, dude, like you created that. You literally set up this meeting. You said, let's jump on a
yeah,
call. Let's talk about these deeper things. You created that space. And we're co-creating this moment together. This is what we need to do. This is why I love Crusadia too. This is what we're all doing, is that we're co-creating a space together to be our best selves, align with our best selves, which includes speaking our truth, which includes being authentic to ourselves. And being authentic to ourselves also means looking at the things that we've been suppressing this entire
Yeah.
time. The stories that we don't talk about, the stories that we feel like we can't talk about with people because we feel we're gonna be misunderstood. And
And when we,
hey,
not to
yeah,
talk, but when we do that and there's hesitancy and people pick up on it, I've experienced it. They use that as a way to say that that's not actually what you're feeling because you're hesitant. You know,
mhm,
it's like almost like since we are not used to speaking from such an authentic place, when we do feel
yeah,
like certain moments, we really got to express ourselves and be like, this is actually what I think. And we put ourselves out there. I think there's moments where like I have a brief hesitancy because I'm not used to talking like that. I'm not used to like certain spaces. I don't talk like that. And then if I suddenly just bring that up and I
you're a
talk like that,
fantastic speaker.
but
Sorry to interrupt, but dude,
no,
you're
but
killing it, man.
like it's safer. But I'm talking about like in a meeting, I'm like, this doesn't align with me. How do I explain all these things that I went through where I'm at in the journey? It's like 3D, like the 3D world of everything.
Don't get me started on
Yeah.
that. You said to send me down a rabbit hole. Don't do it.
But
Don't do
if
it.
I'm in that space, I'm trying to say something
Yeah.
authentic. I think people pick up on that because the way I see 3D aligning is we had a great fireplace the other day with Oliver saying, and Cumshiel, he's saying like, I forget what it was. It was the same thing as putting stress onto everyone because the way inflation works is like what you hold is worth less and less over time. So it's like a Mario world where you're jumping on shit and it's breaking under you. So you got to jump on the next one. You got to jump on the next one. And you don't feel that with like the regular solid platforms where it's like you put in effort, you worked yourself, you accumulate a certain wealth, you're able to hold that wealth. But that's just a quick tangent. But I guess my
Yeah.
point, I think when I'm in those spaces, there's doubt and hesitancy. And I think the people that are operating on the 3D space and 3D world all the time, they're so attuned to fear, like guilt, anxiety, doubt, that they pin holes in that logically. They would just go and be like, well, what's there to support your statement? And in a way, if I'm not used to speaking for my authentic self, I don't know how to defend myself, how
Yeah.
to back myself up. Because if I can't be there for myself, what can I do? Like, and at that time, I feel,
Yeah, I do,
and so
bro.
that's why I need that boundary with people that I'm engaging that are from the 3D and people that know what the deeper truth of the reality we're living in is. It's
Yeah.
achieving the next goal. It's more about observing what
Yeah.
we're actually doing, where it's motivating from. And if I feel like we're motivated from fear, I'm just like, no matter how good the plan's gonna sound, I'm not gonna fucking do it because it's like we built this whole thing just because we are afraid of failing.
What do you align? Yeah.
Exactly. And if the alignment's off, it's just like I can't go forward. It just doesn't feel good to me. And
Yeah.
so that's why I think, dude, this is going to be huge for everyone. I think Rami talks about like the multi-dimensionality of people and how we're like
Yeah.
operating in different, not dimensions, but different realms or different spaces. And
Yes, dimensions,
yeah,
bro. The thing that I love the most about this, and this completely goes into tandem with what you're saying, I'm not gonna trail off and let my ADHD take me a million
that's all right
parsecs
too,
away.
man. Yeah.
Is that
So you got the
yeah,
space.
it's that, we are interdimensional beings, and it doesn't mean just, oh, like I'm not talking about getting in a spaceship and going somewhere else. I mean, the mind is powerful, bro. Like that, the consciousness is a whole other topic, but what do you align with? Like you were saying, if you're part of a business and
Yeah.
like their thing is we got to do this, we got to sell this amount of things, and like the root of that need is with fear, you're aligning yourself with
Yeah.
that. And you have to ask yourself and be so real with yourself, do I really want to do this in the long run? Do I really like, is this something that I
100%.
align with? Because if I align myself in a job that does this, which job equals financial needs being met, which also then talks about your chakras. That's your root chakra right there, which is stability.
Yeah.
If you align yourself with that on a fear-based
Yeah.
level, you have to ask yourself those questions onto what you're really aligned with, because that then corresponds with the dimension of consciousness that you operate off of.
100%.
You're gonna have to put like the little dimension of consciousness little
Yeah.
chart here, or your thing, I don't know, whatever you got
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do, but based on the decisions that you make, that's where you lie within the states of consciousness. That's what I have two songs called States, Between State and then Between Two States. And it's talking about it, the point behind it is states of consciousness, where between two states, you can be between two states of consciousness when you're making that shift from the old way of thinking to the new way of thinking. And then it's kind of what I'm talking about and what you're
Yeah.
talking about. What do you want to align yourself with? And that ultimately then determines the people you're around. You don't want to be around people, like you were saying, around people that are operating from fear, not because you don't care for them or love them, but it's like, okay, what am I going to do? Because ultimately, what I'm going to do, where I'm going to be operating from, is how I will be interacting with others too. And here we
Yeah.
are, we're having these conversations. We're aligned with some badass people right
Yeah,
now,
dude.
bro. All of us, we, like everybody watching this, anybody that hops on or has the privilege to hop on with my guy over here. Because even for me, the stuff that I've been going through and the stuff that I see a lot of people in this world go through, we're talking about exactly those things. And again, like even on a super personal level for me, it's like hating me, man, in the best way. So we're all meant to be here and be doing
Yeah.
this. This isn't a coincidence, as Joseph says too. I love that guy,
I'm
man.
having him on
He's
tomorrow.
awesome.
And dude, we should do a
Yeah,
3-person podcast.
I would
Crazy.
love to.
Yeah.
Send me the invite, brother. I'm there, man. That would be insane because it led up to
Yeah.
now. The only moment is now, like we said. So it led up to now. It's for a reason. And oh, man, I'm just stoked.
To demonstrate your point, I remember Ed Sheeran, he was saying I could release music that people would like, that would be popular, that would have to get the clicks and hits. And that's kind of like the two
Yeah.
operation methods. I feel like it's like when we're trying to do something, like what do we want? Why do we want success? Everyone wants to do it and succeed. But once you, I feel like people, that's where their thinking stops. It's like once you reach the goal, what's next? What's your part of the bigger vision? And at the end of the day, music is an expression of self. And
Yeah.
what music, all this, I mean, yeah, I know right now it's like whatever the fuck feels good on like behind like a TikTok short is going to be the thing that takes off, which is like dumb as hell, but that's just
Mhm.
like clicks and views, like if you want to do that.
But is it dumb? Because what I just heard right now is that also a way for you to feel that you're satisfying the need to express yourself?
That's
I mean, is
true.
that really on a subconscious level you just trying to express yourself? And even though, and that's where the shame and the guilt
Mm,
comes in because it's like, oh, it's dumb. I'm trying to get views, but it's dumb. And
yeah.
some people think it is, but
I'm in that
ultimately,
party, but
it
I don't
just
know. And consciously, it could be coming from guilt or shame of wanting that. Because,
right. It's like I should feel shameful for feeling that I need to get views because feeling like I need to have external validation is bad. But the more you look into why you think it's
yeah.
bad, you realize it's just views. What is the root? Well, I'm trying to express myself. Okay, cool. You know now you know
Mhm.
that. You're now consciously still trying to get views, but you know what it's
Yeah.
for. And it's for satisfying that feeling to be seen because you never felt like you were seen before.
I love that. Dude, that's
That's
amazing.
it, dude.
Yeah. You probably,
I just
I don't fucking do music, so I don't know shit about it, but I'm like,
I overthink
yeah,
everything though.
I'm
I'm
on
like,
the same boat as you. That's why I get the rewrite. I'm like, dude, I understand that. And I love that, man. And I guess the
yeah,
example I was trying to give is like, I remember him saying a while back, the castle on the
yeah.
hill or something, is like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah,
loved that.
yeah,
I forget what he said, but pretty much like he said some of the music he's like writing is like, it's just for it to get clicks. And the music I write where it's like, it's authentically expressing my love for music again, doesn't have that same level of achievement because he knows like the algorithm or some shit. Like he has like a intuitive feel
yeah.
of like what kind of beats would get to it. Or like even the music he's releasing recently, which is around like, fuck, I forgot, like Zendaya? Casanova? Not Casanova. I'm just gonna look it up.
Yeah, I haven't been super tapped in with him recently, but I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. And there's a different energy or frequency when you really listen to it. Sometimes, if you really lean into it, you can tell, okay, this is just a pop song for the
Yeah, yeah.
radio versus the other ones. Maybe there's a little bit more depth into it, and you're like, nah, he put his heart and soul into
Yeah.
that one, you know?
And I think I feel that a lot with what's oh my god, I'm forgetting all the names. Like, I mean, DJ Khaled is pretty much just
Hmm.
making fucking music for views. He's like, he cares if he's on the top of the fucking hit list or not. And what was
Yeah.
that guy? The other guy with like the blonde wig, and he's like, I'll beat DJ Khaled.
Oh, wait, are you talking about the
Oh,
dude that
fuck names.
was he always wearing like a red jacket?
No,
Nah.
but he's super popular right now. But he's gay, I think. I'm not too sure. I can never tell.
Okay.
Black guy,
I don't
blonde
know, dude.
wig. That was his song. There's some drama around it, but essentially, like, there's like I feel like in artist competition, it's always been this thing about like, who's real, especially in rap. Who's real? Who's doing it for
Hmm.
views? And that was such a huge thing. And then you get caught up in that mute mess as well. It's like even the guys that are doing it is like because they want to be perceived as real.
Yeah, but it's like, are
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
Right. How real are you to the point where how real are you? How much do you value real that you would rather than need to show people that you're real versus you're just so real that you don't care if you're even seen or not.
exactly.
Like you don't even care. It's you like how down to earth are you and rooted and grounded? Because I know you had
That's
also said something
credit.
about how to be more
Yeah,
grounded, right? That's been a theme for me too, is how to be more
yeah.
grounded. Because sometimes I'm like, you know, freaking
Because
everywhere.
success fucks you
And it's
up.
like,
Like just like last week, I'm like, dude, I'm really getting to creating websites or such. I put up the website thing, and then I'm like, why am I so ungrounded? And I think it's because in the past I was like always had this fear around coding, even though I could do it. There's this fear because
mhm,
there's like all this expectation of like I don't know, coders have this ego, man. And I'm like, I don't want to be in that competitive mess because once I'm in a competition, I have to win it. And I've had that a lot in my life, even this obsession I have. Like it just drives me to do things that are really not good for me. Maybe staying up late, being super I'd get adrenaline rushes randomly throughout the day kind of a thing. And sometimes it's not good, but it's that success. You hit that success and you're like, I want more. And that goes
yeah,
unregulated and you start going crazy. You're like, let me just do it again until I get it right in the middle of the
because
night.
that's the
Fucking,
mind.
it's crazy, right?
Yeah, because that's the
Yeah,
mind, right? This is the part where introspection gets really deep too, because it's discerning what is the mind, the ego telling me, versus what is my deeper truth. Because for
yeah,
me, I'll tell you my deeper truth, right? There's material 3D stuff, like we said, materialism. I gotta have this. And sometimes the material is not necessarily material, but it's a goal, like you
yeah,
said. Okay, need to have this goal. I need to have abs. I need to have whatever it is. And it's, again, not what you currently have. You're affirming that you currently don't have it. You're going after something you don't currently have. And then you keep affirming that you don't have it through your actions of trying to
yeah,
obtain. And then you keep doing it, you keep doing it. And your mind is also telling you that you need to do it or else, because it's a survival mechanism. The ego is something that's built into us that is just trying to really protect
yeah,
us. And so it keeps doing it, it keeps putting you in this loop. Your adrenaline goes up. And then you finally get there, cause and
yeah,
effect. Action stuff is going to happen one way or another. But you know, then you hit that point, like you said, we were like, fuck do I do now? I hit my
yeah,
goal, but now my mind is telling me some other shit. It's looking over there and saying, wait, but I want that.
yeah,
I want this. And the thing is that even though it's a part of us, the ego is a part of us, it's not meant to be destroyed. Some people have these
yeah,
crazy, ego death trips and like this like psychedelic
yeah,
thing. And like, really they're just replacing their ego with
yeah,
another one. Because it's like, oh, I don't have an ego. But it's like, we're meant to integrate that, but also analyze when it's just acting, when it's just operating from an animalistic like standpoint, I guess.
yeah.
Like we are still animals too. Like people think that human beings are like the most remarkable, you know, like there's nothing better, right? And it's like we have to analyze that we still have these animalistic tendencies, and
100%.
they show up in many ways. Women or dudes if you're gay or whatever it is. And then there's, ambitions and the need for
Competition, dude.
materials and like
Competition is
competition.
huge.
It's like I need to show you that I'm better than
Yeah.
you, and that's where the super competitive people. And there's nothing wrong with
And sometimes
competition,
you have a
you
goal.
know.
It's, I need to be better than
Yeah,
everyone else. That
exactly.
like, and then you're always comparing. You're always like, your mind is, so you trained your subconscious like that. So now your subconscious is computing where you're at.
Yeah,
And then what happens soon enough is you have a good day or a bad day depending on where you ranked yourself. And that's all imaginary because
exactly.
you don't even know what the fuck the other person's doing, bro.
Yeah, you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what they. How do you know that they're even trying to compete with
Yeah.
you? And then you've just created an entire reality based off again the lens that you're
Yeah.
wearing. This is that's ultimate. That's the ultimately reality creation. Even if you still like in a way act upon
Yeah.
it,
It
at
happens.
least you're
It
aware.
happens.
It happens, dude. It happens
Yeah.
to me too. I freaking am in the gym and I'm like, these biceps suck.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Just a
you know
week
what I
ago,
mean?
I was like,
And
oh,
I'm
I'm feeling so good, man. I'm in tune with everything. And then ego comes
like,
out of nowhere. This week, 4 hours
yeah,
sleep or 5 hours of sleep in like 3 days. I'm like, what am I doing? What happened to my, and then I'm looking at, like,
yeah,
I got this new, that's supposed to be like Whoop, but cheaper. And it's telling me stress, my fatigue is so bad, like
yeah,
not aligning. And I'm just,
yeah,
and this idea stuck in my head. And it's just like, I can't calm down no matter what I do. Even if I go out for a bit, I'm like, I want to come back and work on it. It's obsessive. And
the mind.
yeah,
Yes, yes. Yeah. What am I really supposed
because
to
it
do
doesn't
here?
think
Right?
what
Like,
is after that
yeah,
there. Like
yeah.
I don't know
I
if you
didn't
ever
get
had
there.
those where it's just like I need to get to like a computer. If you could take 2 days, one day, it doesn't make a difference, bro. You're not gonna get like a mind changing amount of like things, but it's there's no logic sometimes. It's just illogically drawn to these certain materials. And
Yep.
in a way, the more in tune I am, the stronger these pulses are because I'm tapped in more deeply. I'm affected more deeply. And now
Yeah.
you're supposed to,
Yeah.
then it's like, then it easily leads to overthinking.
It's a
And yeah, the more, that's the thing is people think once you're tuned in, it's fucking easy. It's not. Your life becomes better. You start become, you know, the path to being better, but you're still,
It's hard.
it's still, I don't want to say it's like a battle. You're not going to have friction, but initially and throughout the things, you're going to deal with bigger and bigger demons. Hero's
Yeah,
journey, like any other path, right?
totally the hero's
Yeah.
journey, dude. It's just like Star Wars. That's also the reason why I was always drawn to Star Wars. That led me, that was such a synchronicity and a seed for me as a
Yeah.
kid. I was not introduced to that by accident. And I always used to love looking at the stars and shit. My mind was always out there.
Yeah.
But Star Wars and the hero's journey is what subconsciously resonated with me so hard
Yeah.
because Luke was, especially when he was struggling with trying to like get a hang of the force and like or even Anakin, dude. Anakin's really the one I'm talking about here. That guy went through so much shit. And the thing is that he ultimately that energy, which is just energy, the force, that took him down that
Yeah.
path. He eventually came back, but a common theme in awakening and understanding the deeper who you truly are, which is not just your name and your freaking meat suit that you're wearing. It's deeper
Yeah.
than that. Like your consciousness, you're experiencing this shit and everything that we go through in a very temporary experience. We're all guaranteed to
Yeah.
die. And so, as dark as that sounds, it's true.
100%. Literally.
Yeah, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, like you said, with the hero's journey, is that you kind of get lost because you go again. Ignorance is bliss. You go a while not really looking at those things, and it's like, oh, everything's so easy, blah blah blah, or like not easy, but like we talked about the different states of
Yeah.
consciousness. We all go through those different states, and sometimes we go
Yep.
back.
One dude.
Just like you were saying
Yeah.
too, like you can have the most enlightened moment where you just are so tuned in and like you are analyzing every single little thing that your ego is trying to do, and you're like, "Hey, I see you. Not gonna do that." And then there's other times where the ego is like, "Gotcha, bitch," and then you're
Literally.
just like,
Yeah.
you're just like, "Fuck," it's a sliding scale. And I think even analyzing and recognizing, which I know is that when you analyze and recognize, okay, I'm living the sliding
Yeah.
scale. I can make space for myself because of that. Okay, let me give myself a break. As long as you're trying,
You're gonna make it.
you're gonna be
Yeah.
fine. Like you saw it, Anakin. Even when he was in his darkest, he killed his freaking wife. He freaking did all this shit. He still came out at the end,
I never
right?
watched Star Wars, by the way.
Even,
I'm just letting you know.
oh, dude. Spoiler alert! He
I know,
dies.
dude. It's like a
Everything.
meme already. It's like, it's just fun. It's like, I mean, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's like even then, it's never too late. Even when he literally like right at the last second when he literally was dying, his Luke like brought him back, or he brought himself back
Yeah.
too. It's like we we're always found. We're never lost. I just love that understanding of things because even when we feel like we're so out of tune, and like you were saying, you kind of get in this rat race mindset,
Yeah.
you come back. One way or another, you still come back. You come back to remembering, oh, and then those situations make you remember. Sometimes you got to forget to remember. You're like, wait a second. I literally just the other day was on that autopilot mindset where I had to finish this website or
Yeah.
else. And
Yeah.
it's like the yin and yang.
Ego thing too. And
So,
sometimes it's like meant to be. Sometimes you're meant to be captured by those things, so it pushes you. Also is
mhm,
like a lesson. It's hard to understand this because there's so many things that the place you're at is the reason you're there. It's never just like, yeah, it's because you're dealing with this one thing. But in that moment, we take one thing at a time. That's why it's like try to take one step at a time. But later we realize there's so much alignment as to why I was there. Like right now, I'll probably realize, oh man, you got these clients. That's why you need to create this website. But then maybe the universe was like, all right, let's just trigger his ego. So he'll just complete it super quickly. But he'll also learn how to manage that part of himself. Because I'm pretty sure I could have done
yeah.
this in the less intense way if I was more conscious, more down to earth, or I guess more in my body. More I embodied myself. It's rather than being like, dude, I feel like I'm feeling that more and
Yeah.
more as I clear is like I got these strong ass energy spikes that just take me to the like kind of space. And
Mhm.
then now I'm coming down and it's like controlling those is has been nice. I mean, it's been I'm just enjoying everything. That's the difference. It's like it doesn't feel like suffering anymore. Because before, if I'm like,
Yeah.
man, why am I here?
Oh, you're
Because
done.
we get
Yeah.
attached. That's the thing is, dude, the non-linearity was the key. Is that shit's not
Mhm.
gonna happen like step A, B, C, D. It's not gonna go from like better, 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 better. You're gonna fall. That's the thing. It's like we
Yeah.
do progress, right? Like, does your fucking program software ever progress back? Like, oh, you're at 20%, 15, then 30, then 25, then you know what I mean?
So if you need to take two steps back to make that giant step, that giant jump
Yeah.
forward, I mean, would you rather take like 50 steps straight, or would you rather that will only take you to this
Yeah.
point, or would you rather take a few steps, then take even more back to then get past that
Yeah.
point? And we don't, going back to the 3D thing that you were saying, and I want to touch
Yeah.
up on
Yeah.
the points you
Of
were
course. Of
making in a
course.
second, but this came to me. Talking about the 3D thing, dude, we can only see in this is we live a third dimensional experience. Fourth, I love the fourth dimension. That's actually what this Tesseract is about. If you look at, and that's what my album is about too. Not even to self promote right now, but it's more about tying all these things together. The Tesseract, the thing with this that's really
Oh.
interesting, if you look within it, there are different points of interaction. So the point behind that is that looking at things from a higher dimension, like the fourth dimension, for example, you would be able to see every possibility all at
Yeah.
once versus being here and only the now, which that's what it is. But for the fourth dimensional being, the now is everything, including all
Yeah.
possibilities.
Yeah.
So the thing that's so beautiful about this and why I'm bringing this up is because you don't know, you truly don't know by trying to control and do all this shit of like, oh, I need to do this way so it can come out this way. You don't know if it's gonna come out that way, and you don't know if you just chilling and then taking a few steps back and then making that giant step forward by because you took those 2 steps back, that will actually maybe put you where you want or even better in a place that you never would have even
Yeah.
thought because your mind was too fixated on the one possibility when there's infinite
Because it
possibilities.
feels like continue. I know,
No,
dude.
no, go for it,
It's
dude.
just I feel like
That's it.
sometimes it's like we think we get to a point
Yeah.
we're gonna be good, we're gonna be satisfied. That's what's good for us. We're so fixated that it
Mm-hmm.
has to be that route, and we're gonna go there. And these plans, like
Mm-hmm.
I think legitimately sometimes it's like we don't know what's really good for us.
Yeah.
You have a relationship where we try to overestimate how good your girlfriend is or how good these relationships are at those moments you're caught
Yeah.
up in. And if you're not open to the fact
Right.
that things are going to change, now all of a sudden you don't like change because you think everything is good, but everything is holding you where you're at, afraid
Yeah.
of growing.
Yeah.
It's so much of these circular logics in a person's head that the reality they're comfortable with and a reality they're uncomfortable with. And once you're able
Mm-hmm.
to understand why these circuits are trying to protect you, I'm trying
Yeah.
to be stable, but once you expand yourself to grow and adapt to be not be afraid of these things, it really does you're believing that good will happen to you, and it will. And that belief,
Because you, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's not even belief. It's what you want, and it's what you desire, and it becomes. But it's not
yeah,
instantaneous. But if you really truly believe, okay, no, this is what I want, this is what I want to experience, this is what I want to live, your mind, your logic, your consciousness, your ego will try to pull you the
yeah,
other way, keep you in the now, in the state that you're currently living in because it's trying to protect you. But especially because who at the end of the day doesn't like something that's easy and predictable and stable? Like, oh, I already know
yeah,
what's gonna happen. Who doesn't
yeah,
like that? We all do. I'm fucking smiling right now because I
yeah,
love that. But it's like just like you said, bro, it's like you being open to it. Just again
yeah.
being open
That's the
to it
big deal.
and recognizing, yeah, just recognizing, dude, you know what? Like this is where I'm at right now. I like it. It's comfortable, cool, whatever. But like one way or another, you're eventually going to see an opportunity that's going to help you
Yeah.
expand,
Oh,
like you
yeah.
said, help you
That's the word.
and shift to, yeah,
Yeah.
expand and be. And this is what I mean by this because you can go so many different routes. That's why I said that
Infinite
each
set
one
of
of us is just a
possibilities.
walking
Yeah.
separation of
I
different
remember
dimensions
this.
or
Yeah.
possibilities. Yeah, because that's what we
Yeah.
are. That's why I say we're interdimensional beings because it doesn't like you're not constrained to just one thing. It's just like I can go this way, I can go that way, and being open to it is the key to be able to expand, and it's going to show up in ways that you're not going to fuck with because it's going to be fearful, it's going to be the exact thing that you
Yeah.
fear. Why do you
Yeah.
fear it? What's that thing like me with music? It's like, oh, releasing music, that's like another step for the collective, for other people, for me, like it's all inclusive, it's an expansion, right? And for me, I was afraid of
Yeah.
that because it was just too big, it was too big, it was too much, and it was, even though it was positive, I still feared it because it directly tied to my fear, but my fear was of something good
Yeah.
ultimately. So you were saying something though about specifically with coding. You said
Yeah.
coding, and you also said in the sense of feeling restless. Truthfully, dude, you are always going to be your worst critic. You're always going to be the hardest person on yourself because you're the one analyzing your
Yeah.
actions. You're the one that's analyzing the thoughts as you're doing those actions. And it's just not a nice voice sometimes, man. It's just because then it's like, oh, you didn't sleep enough. Like, you didn't sleep enough. What about your gains? What
Oh,
about,
I'm like, dude, should I even go to the gym? I'm like, I'm not going to recover from it.
yeah,
Overcomplicating it again. Instead of just being like, I got to go to the
yeah.
gym every day. Like, I was like, fuck, if I go right now, I might fucking pull something. I don't know if I could do
Mm-hmm.
those fucking 3 to 4 reps of like, I'm going to tear something, bro. And so it was just about letting go of control. And because I'm thinking that overthinking is, it's going to be the cause. It's not even going to be like the thing that is actually going to be the cause. It's going to be my mindset around going into it. That's like I'm going in a meeting expecting to be criticized. I somehow will
Yeah.
manifest that. It's like let's just say
Yes.
like I'm doing everything perfectly. What's wrong with me? Let me fuck up. And you don't think about it like that, but if you notice, if you really go back and look at it, what was the reason I messed up? Right? Your energy is all around fucking up. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's just like sometimes I pitch like the idea to people and they're like, "Oh my god, how are you going to get users? There's so many competitors in your space." I'm like, I don't give a shit about that. I do in a way. It matters that there's people competing. It's a tough space, but it's also like, what am I trying to do? Why am I doing this? Am I doing this so my company's successful, or what my project is successful, or whatever is successful? That's not the end goal. Isn't success. Success is an inevitability based on what you're doing. That's it.
Beautiful,
Like,
dude.
because
Fucking
yeah,
beautiful.
that's what I'm trying. The reason people succeed is because it fucking betters their life in one way or another. It helps with something. And if my goal is to help people and I achieve my goal, why wouldn't success come with that? It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
It's a
Yeah.
no-brainer. And the thing is, too, is that it's all subjective to the observer because your success, it really matters for
Yeah.
you because that's your definition of success. My definition of success could be a whole other thing. And the person that, for example, is saying, well, what about the users? Well, isn't that they're projecting? And some of it is
Yeah.
true. I mean, some of it is being brought up to you for a reason for you to maybe think about, but not through the lens that they're viewing it from. Because if you sense that they're bringing it up from a fear based lens, that doesn't even align with you in the first place. That's not part of your blueprint of
Yeah.
success because it's not your definition of success. And ultimately, it's your project. You're doing
Yeah.
this. What is your intention? What is your goal? And then what is it that what energy and frequency are you putting out to then create what you really want?
Authenticity
Yeah,
is.
that's
That's what authenticity is, bro.
slam, dude.
You just said it.
Grand fucking
Yeah.
slam. That's it.
That's what I am. That's what I'm about. And you don't have to project it or yell it on the top of the mountain to be authentic. You just have to know that that is you.
You have to
You
understand
have
it.
to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to embody it in your actions, in your words, in your phraseology, how you treat others, how you treat yourself. Set of
Yeah.
principles. You can't just believe shit just because someone told me I need to believe it or it's conditioning from my childhood. It's going to happen. There's always going to be a part of you, but you got to be able to acknowledge it. When you learn something
Sorry.
true about it, you got to acknowledge it because you're the observer. You know the truth about your experience. And if you can't be authentic to that truth that you're witnessing, that you're experiencing, then you've already disembodied from who you are to who you want to be. And this goes back to that thing of like past, present, and you're just playing with like theories
Yeah.
at this point. Yeah.
Grounded.
You're not grounded. You're not being where you're at. And that's, yeah. Dude, this is like we're like bouncing ideas off. Yeah.
Heating. We're heating up, bro. I know that we're on the same page with this, and whoever watches this, I already know they're vibrationally aligned to this because this is all stuff that I know that probably people are gonna hear this and gonna be like, I needed to hear
Yeah.
that. But just to kind of keep going on what you were saying, analyzing what truly is authentic to you or
Yeah.
not. Right? Like you were saying, when the person says, oh, what about this? What they're really saying is, my definition of success is if this and this is in the right
Yeah.
place. And that's a reflection for you to then, it's like a confirmation box. You know, when you're about to like play a game or you're about to choose a character, it's like, are you sure you want to
Yeah.
do this? It's the same thing, except it's just in the physical reality where it's like, wait a second, this person just presented this to me. Is that really me? Is that really what I'm trying to
Yeah.
do? Is that even just my baseline vibration right now? If the answer is no, really allow that to reflect back to you what your inner truth is.
Yeah.
Be the most authentic to yourself. You still gain something from it. That's just something you can put in your pocket for understanding
Yeah.
yourself. It goes even to the same thing of like, okay, why is somebody doing something? Why is it the programming?
Yeah.
Because our brains are freaking super quantum computers. We have all types of programming running back there. A lot of it can be influenced from the media. I see this a lot with men too, is like the music that we grew up listening to is like with all these sexual
Oh,
themes and
yeah.
shit, and it perverts the mind. And then you start lusting over women, and then you start losing your sexual energy. You start, removing yourself from yourself because you're like seeking outside of yourself because you want something or whatever. But it's about asking yourself again, like, what is it that is truly running in your subconscious programming, and like how are those things motivating you and your actions, and are you now aligning with what you truly is for you? That's what I was trying to say earlier with like the whole person in the gym recording themselves.
Yeah.
Like I just looked at it and I was like, there could be an infinite set of reasons why this person is doing that, and it's not for me to judge, but it's more of like the dimensionality of thinking is so imperative to have. And this could be another conversation, but I feel like that's also being taken away from a lot of people because they're just consuming and they're receiving all these like, oh, like success means blowing up on TikTok. Now I got to blow up on TikTok. It's like I got to follow the conformity of what it is versus just following your truth, which maybe your truth is you don't give a shit
Yeah.
about that. And you just want to have a real conversation with a cool dude
For that.
on.
You know what I mean? You fucking like got here, but like, how the fuck you explore that? Friend groups, dude. I don't know, dude. Modern day friend groups, they're just about fucking whatever's going on social media, playing games or doing some
Mhm.
shit or going off like
Go
being
out and get the
high, like some shit
bros.
like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's just
yeah, yeah.
that. It's like there's no opportunity for guys to be like, yo, let's get into the shit that matters in life.
But you know
You
what?
know?
I have to say
Yeah.
this. I have to say I agree with you because it's very much that way. The music is programming. Like, 50 Cent, you got a bottle in the club, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like this thing where it's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I'm over here at home freaking, wanking it. I gotta go
Like
out
go to the
there
club.
and get me a real girl, and I gotta get a bottle in the club, VIP, and all this
Yeah.
stuff. And it's like that is just you're deciding by listening to that and actually taking action on that. You're saying, okay, give me those glasses, I'm going to wear them, view my life for the next few years off of that
Yeah.
mentality. And you know to answer your question as to where is the room or space to have these types of conversations, it's different for everybody. Again,
Mm.
the walking dimension
Yeah.
thing. For me, I remember very early in college, I was like, dude, in high school, I was like, I want to go to the college parties. I want to get wasted. I went and did it. Dude, I didn't want to do it
Yeah.
anymore. I was like, this ain't even for
Yeah.
me. But I wanted to experience it. And like that goes for anybody. You might want to experience something so bad until you do it. And then you've learned something about yourself because that ain't
Yeah.
you. And you thought it was. But it wasn't you. And then you're like, oh, so what do I really want? You go through that, you end up finding out, okay, well, this is for me. That isn't me. This is me. That isn't me.
It's an exploration of
I
self
have now
in a,
exploration of
in a
self.
roundabout way.
Yeah, the universe. So it's like you find out about yourself, and then you're like, oh, this is what I want, and that's how you become undeniable because now you know what's truly for you, what truly is you. Even then, I see people going to the club and doing all this crazy stuff and drinking their lives away. I see people post about this. They'll
Yeah.
be like, while you're in the club, I'm in the gym, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but you're judging people for either what you used to
Yeah.
do or not even that. You're judging somebody's experience. They might need to be doing that to arrive where you're
Yeah.
at. How do you know that they're going to not arrive where you are? How do you know that they're already knowing the stuff that you know, except they still decide to do it?
He doesn't even
And
go
you
to the
don't know
gym
what's.
all that much. It's
Yeah,
like he goes to the gym
yeah.
once and he's like, it's like my fucking dad, bro. It's just like I tried to take him to the gym. He's like, all right, I went once this week. I'm good. I'm like, what the fuck you mean? Like you went once this week, and then now he tells everyone I go to the
Yeah,
gym. Some people
yeah,
just
yeah,
need
yeah.
that to just be like, I went to the gym. So it's like, and people that actually go every day, no one, they're not like their whole identity isn't like, man, I go to the, maybe some people I've seen like that, like the CrossFitters. They're like,
Mm.
I'm a CrossFitter, that kind of shit. And I'm like, I don't know, but yeah, um,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like, you get what I mean? It's
A whole other dimension, bro.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's about posing what you want to be, and then it's like you
Mhm.
can't explore it. It's like let's just say your intents are shitty, like what we talked about earlier. Like let's say you want to be like, I just want to like get it for views. I want that validation. And once you're able to accept that about it, where it's just like I just want to be someone that is known to go to the gym, but something around me is making me like, then why don't you just go to the gym? What's holding me back? Because it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm fat, I'm afraid, I don't have the physique, everyone looks good. I kind of feel like emasculated because I can't lift as heavy or my technique is not right. I don't know how to learn. Pose
Yeah.
and get out. Because you feel like you're not good enough, you're not enough to like deal with all that shit. And once we admit it, then our subconscious is going to process that shit and it's going to give us opportunities to learn, explore. You're going to see a YouTube video being like, oh shit, I remember I had a problem of like, I don't know the technique. Let me just go look at this video, see what I learn. And then eventually you'll be on that
Mhm.
path. And that's what you're saying exactly. It's like, how do you know that person that's like going to the bar every day isn't going to be you going to the gym? today? How
Yeah, you can't judge somebody off of a freaking post on social media. You don't know what they're battling. You don't know what they've already
yeah,
done. It's a mirror. It's always a mirror because if you look at somebody and you're judging somebody, you're also judging yourself because you wouldn't accept yourself if you were that
that's
person doing that exact
dude,
thing.
100%. And that's the thing is the more you are able to understand, forgive, whatever process you need to go through, then you're able to truly empathize where another person's at.
Mhm.
Even the thing is, a lot of
Yeah.
times we externalize the things, the people that we
Mhm.
hate, we see ourselves in,
Yeah.
right? And the people
Yeah.
we love is like sometimes you don't relate to it. You might admire a part of yourself. Sometimes like they remind me of my parents because and I admire this part of them, or I admire certain role models. And I'm
Yeah.
like, these guys have the same quality. There's so much of those things being similar, and the people we hate, we hate a part of ourselves that behaves like that, the part of our way that thinks like that,
Right.
part of ourselves that has shit like that. So then that internal friction we have, the shittier we treat that part of ourselves, hard,
Yeah.
and that's gross.
Yeah.
Trying so hard to be,
Or cringe.
and that's why we can't tolerate them. If we are able to
Mhm.
appreciate, I tried so hard, even though that's not where I'm at. I tried so hard. I don't think you're gonna hate that guy as much for trying so hard. You can
Definitely. Dude,
empathize. That's
definitely.
where empathy even comes from, dude. Understanding yourself. Yeah.
Yes,
So
dude. 1000%,
yeah,
man. You killed it. That one. Yeah, man.
and
I just wanted to say that there might be the question that comes up with whoever's watching this, or even for me when I first started to get down this path too, was, well, how the heck can how, if I'm judging somebody or if there's something about something that's just rubbing me off the wrong
yeah,
way, even if you don't know exactly how this is mirroring you or mirroring something to you, you can ask yourself, what about this is what is the vibration here? What is the energy here? And then see the energy in that post, or yeah, I'm not even just talking about, we were talking about social media, so I keep saying
yeah,
post, but any situation. And then, okay, thinking in terms of vibration is important because if you can see the energy or vibration within yourself, the feeling that you feel inside when you see or observe something that makes you like repulsed, or like you have to you it's like a string. It's kind of like a, okay, like let me follow the path here, like this is saying something or it's making me feel a certain way, let me lean into that more even if I don't know what inside me that thing
yeah,
is. Let me pull the string and keep going until I find the source as to what it is exactly that either I'm not accepting about myself, or either that I'm not integrating, or maybe it's something that just no longer is you, and you're seeing that and it's just calling for a little bit more love. Hey, you did get over this phase, maybe you should pat yourself on the back a little bit more and have some more love and compassion for
yeah,
yourself, and really kind of close that wound so that way the next time if you do see that, you can give it the flowers and allow it to pass, because ultimately you'll still continue to experience that thing and see that thing if you haven't given it those flowers to be able to be accept you. Now we can move on because it's always going to externalize, like you said it beautifully, it's going to keep externalizing until you really close that gap.
yeah.
So really just becoming aware. I think you
I
get
get
what I'm
what you're
saying.
saying.
I know you
Yeah,
get.
yeah. It's difficult to really put it into words that do it justice.
Yeah,
I feel like we're just touching a part of it. It's trying to get
I
the whole
feel like we're
thing.
just scratching the
Yeah.
surface.
And
Yeah.
dude, I think we can go so much deeper and it will just push both of our
Mhm.
journeys, like accelerate them, I think.
I already feel like I because this for me feels so in tune and in alignment with what I've already been going through in my life. I know it has been for you too. I can
Yeah.
just see it, dude. But like, I would love to continue this because it lights up a fire within me. I'm feeling like ecstatic, bro. I feel like I could just be like that Red Bull dude that jumped off the freaking
Yeah.
thing, like in space. I feel like that guy right
Yeah.
now. I just feel like, oh, like I could, spaceman, literally the
Oh
spaceman.
shit.
You know,
God damn.
like, I feel like that right now, and I love having these conversations, and I want to have more conversations like this with all of our fellow selves, as I like to
Yeah.
say, because we're all one anyway,
I,
man. We're
yeah.
all in this together, dude. So, I would love to continue this, dude, because this is electric. This is freaking electric.
100%. And I think there's so many ways to go about it. And I think that's part of what I
Mhm.
want to do in terms of projects or whatever is just help people develop themselves. I think it's not even I'm helping. I think the main thing is I'm helping myself move through this. By helping others, it's
Yeah,
that's like what I found is you can deal with it internally, but there's also another way of a lot of times when we help other people, we actually help more of ourselves than others. And
yeah,
it certainly is like a healing process for ourselves. And that's why I think when you take your anger out on other people, you're actually getting more angry at yourself. It never feels good to be angry at other people. And it's just like it internally rubs you
No,
kind of thing.
but the thing is, dude, you're tapped in because you are analyzing and recognizing the
Yeah.
concept, but you're portraying it through different situations and examples, which also, to be honest, does demonstrate true embodiment of what you've come to
Yeah.
understand, right? And this is what came up in my head right now is when you point a finger at somebody, how many fingers do you have pointing back at you, dude? How many? You got three.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
three. And so it's like if I'm getting pissed off at somebody, I'm really getting more pissed off at myself. And that's the thing. There's a lot of naysayers that will say, no, it's not like that. Okay, sure. That's your reality. That is what you have convinced yourself. You've put yourself in this box to think that way. That's
Yeah.
fine. But it's one of those things that just comes with continued learning and continued introspection. And so the same thing goes when it comes to how you feel called to help other people. Yes, you're helping yourself, but you see how it's a infinite
Yeah.
relationship. It's okay. I help myself. I help the other person. I'm making an infinity sign right now. I'm helping myself, therefore I help the other person, and then because I help the other person, I help myself, and now the other person feels help, so now I'm helping
Yeah.
myself, and it is a
It
loop,
really is.
and it's beautiful because that's why I say we're all one, and that's your fellow self because you're helping the other
Yeah.
person, but you're also healing yourself. You're doing something for yourself too, and there's a fine line between only trying to help yourself and then only trying
Yeah.
to help other people.
That's another lens.
That's another lens.
I see it with
That's
like
another
mothers.
lens.
Back in the day, there was like the study, Gabor Mate. I feel like you might have heard of him.
No, enlighten
Dude,
me.
it's like
Enlighten.
this
No, I don't.
like
So
guy who talks about generational trauma. And it's like it was like that, but I never truly, he explained it really well, where he's like, people that only care about other people and don't care about themselves, they have the same problem as people that are being selfish. They actually hurt themselves. And
yes,
those people, they're like on their deathbed. I think this woman got cancer, stage 4, on the deathbed, and he's like a physician, and he's like, she keeps thinking like, oh, without me, if I'm in the hospital, how's my husband gonna have dinner? Or some shit like that. That's her lens, man. It's like always putting other people before her. And what happened is all those emotions of repression, all those emotions, negative emotions she had to repress to be available for someone else, ate away at her to the point where it's causing disease. That was the theory.
yeah.
Is repressing emotion, holding shit back, it actually causes so much internal, like there's this like thing.
You're getting into a whole other
Yeah.
dude.
It's a
Yes.
physical effect on your body. Like what you do with your emotions, what you do
Mhm.
with your thoughts, how you interact with yourself. And that's like a real phenomenon.
I
Yeah.
definitely have.
I ate
Yeah,
pasta for
I
10
definitely.
days and pretty much like during that process, your mind becomes so sharp. You start noticing with every thought, everything, like you have a bubble of consciousness. You can't take in the entire world at once. So you have a bubble of consciousness. Everything that enters that field, you have either you want to pull it closer to you or you want to push it away from the bubble. And when you
Mhm.
have that kind of torsion, tension with that object, it creates suffering. You can't control it, but you think you can. Just like we can't control the future, but we're like, I got a plan. This is my progress. This is what I got to do. And if shit goes bad, I'm suffering. If shit goes well, I don't know. You're not either trying to pull it towards you or push it away. And you're just trying to observe it. And what happens is your body's going to have that reaction, but mentally, your conscious mind that is the observer is just observing the feeling that I don't like it. But I'm not trying to push it away or pull it in,
Yes.
but I'm like, I don't like it.
Yeah, because the ego is the one that's telling you I don't like it, but the consciousness is not the
Yeah.
ego, like
Yeah.
you're saying. So it's the distinction, the understand. It's like, oh, yeah, I see that. I'm observing the fact that I don't
Yeah.
like it.
But you don't have to react from that place. And that's what it teaches you. It decouples emotional responses that you have, the neurological inbuilt, to then taking an action from that place. Like
Yeah.
creating shit from fear. It goes down to those. And why did I even bring this up?
No, because it's about being. I'm getting right now that it just all again with the lens thing.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a very similar baseline thing with the lens. I think that's
And
what
yeah,
you were
and it
going with.
dissipates. So when you have the lens and you do this exercise, what it did is it takes these things and it understands this is a smudge. This is a distortion on reality. It highlights out all the distortions you've put on reality. Because once you understand that you are reacting and then you're taking a certain action, you think that the way we justify it is like it's the other person's fault. It's because of this that this happened.
Yeah.
Now establish an internal link from what's happening within you to what is happening external. And you start imagining those. And then slowly you're able to see reality for what it is and be able to bear with it.
Yeah.
The reason we have all this is because we can't stand reality for what it is. Because we have
Yeah,
so
dude.
much
There's some kind
emotional
of
tension, it
dualism
just
in that.
inherently warps our perception of things. And
Mhm.
bro, I was going somewhere with this.
You
I've
were
been just
mentioning
blanking
no.
halfway through.
Yeah, I know, dude. You're channeling it. That's
Yeah.
what it is. You know, well, the body keeps the score. Dude, there's a this the score. That's a book
Oh
title,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's funny
I've
because I
heard of
still
it.
haven't read that book, but the concept behind it is that your body will actually physically like keep tabs or like
Oh yeah.
remembrances of trauma. It will
Yeah.
keep, that's what you were essentially
Yeah.
saying is that even injuries or whatnot, like those things hold on to trauma,
Yep.
and it's one of those things that like is repressed and repressing. Like the woman that was worried about her husband and everything
Yeah.
like that, she repressed herself so much, causes disease, and it's tough because then comes the medical world. And
Yeah.
I'm not discrediting any medical
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
either,
Same here.
but what I'm saying is that also a lot of the medical industry very much focuses solely on a lot of external
And
factors, and it's
about
because of the
treatments,
cells that did
like
this.
once you
Yeah,
have
the
it.
treatments and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. But let's analyze the cause. A lot of times, I'm not saying every time, but I'm saying there's a lot of things like injuries, there's a lot of diseases that
Yeah.
manifest from, you know, like holding on to, emotional baggage and, unprocessed emotions and, all types of things. And the body soaks that in because where's it going to
Yeah.
go? Where's it gonna go? It's still energy that you're receiving and that you're still experiencing something. So where the heck does
Yeah.
it go? Oh yeah, I just forgot about it. No, now your shoulder's all fucked up because you've been holding on to something for so freaking
And
long or
you see it
whatever.
too. I mean, I see people that are like super technical and shit, and they're like, they're mentally
Mhm.
very, they can't even touch their toes. And I'm like, bro, you've been working out for like
Yeah,
five, how the fuck you can't touch your toes? And
yeah,
it's just like, it
yeah.
actually shows a little bit how you think, how you operate. It actually, you got like a physical signature of it. I'm not going to say it's true all the time, but
I'm trying to say,
intricacies of it all. This is just one dimension of what we see, but there's so much more intricacies as to
right?
why a person might be mentally rigid but have a flexible body. You know
Yeah.
why that's the case. Yeah, yeah,
Yes. Yes. Infinite dimensions of possibilities. And that's the thing is that that's why I was saying earlier is that it just
yeah.
is because it's yin and yang once
Yep.
again. You got the light, you got the dark, and then there's a little bit of dark within the light. There's a little bit of light within the dark. It's like because it's all just energy, there's always a different outlook that you could take on something. Infinite possibilities, meaning that that's where logic is very trippy and why people that are very rigid and very, no, it just is this
Yeah.
way. Like it has to be this way and confined within a certain thing for the mind or the ego to understand. Like it becomes a lot hard. You're playing life on a very difficult mode because you're not allowing yourself to be able to expand and understand and accept
Yeah.
the things that we don't understand, accept that all things are possible. You know what happens when you experience an absolute anomaly of a person or a being or a thing? Then what? Your brain
Yeah.
breaks. And then your very perception on reality itself is now completely shattered. And now you're left to sit here and contemplate your existence, which ultimately could be also the catalyst for somebody to then look deeper in and come to these realizations. I've read tons of stories on Reddit of people going through these
Yeah.
experiences. But to your point, I just want to bring it back home is that, yeah, dude, like there's just so many different possibilities for why people can end up the way that they are. With that being said, it comes to a point of being able to also accept that, even if it goes completely against the viewpoint that you have. It's showing you to maybe let go of your grip a little bit,
Yeah. And
you
there's no
know?
right or wrong in this journey.
Yeah,
That's another thing.
yeah.
I think we fixate on what is right, what is wrong, what is correct, what is incorrect. But at the end of the day, I think
Mhm.
that it's going to be relative to your truth. And sometimes you don't know what's right or
Yes.
wrong. What the external world is saying may not be
Mhm.
resonating with you. And sometimes it might be immensely. So you got to decide based on how your heart and how you're reading the room and drift towards
Yeah.
whatever it is. Whether you think that's shittier, you got to embrace that because that's a part of you. If you think that's better, embrace
Yeah.
that because that's a part of you too. And we get so like obsessed with these value propositions where I'm like, I only need to drift towards what is better, what is good. And what if you're,
What is
yeah,
right?
what is right? And so if you're not feeling that, you can force yourself to do it, and that's going to be your own journey that you're going to go on, and you're going to realize
Mhm.
it. But at the end of the day, all these things are just the background processes that you can't really supersede. It's always going to, you're always
Yeah.
going to be within that loop. You're going to find yourself, you're going to bigger picture that's operating in the same principles. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Fuck.
think that ultimately, one way or another, we have to also come to understand that this very reality that we live in is just like a
Yeah.
school. Because it's like we go through school and there's certain conditioning and programming that we get taught, the history lessons and how Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in freaking
Yeah.
1492, whatever. Like those are things that we were taught, but ultimately now when we get out into the world, you know, we are always being shown the things that we
Yeah.
are. And it's like, okay, like this is what you believe. You see this, you believe it's bad, it's bad. And then it's really up to you. It's a teacher for introspection. Am I holding on to a certain belief? Am I willing to be more open? It's like it's a school because there's just always a lesson to be learned. And even when you think that, oh, got it now, I could see
Yeah.
ya, like no, like there's still yet you're gonna find yourself in another rut. And I think as long as we are in this again, this bodysuit, and as long as we are with the ego, that's even my egos right now. It's also saying
Yeah.
this, like, oh, I'm just a flesh suit. Like you see what I mean? That's how deep it
Yeah.
gets. It hides so
And you
freaking
can go
well.
meta after
And
meta after meta, and it's going to illustrate the principles much deeper. But you don't need to
yeah,
do that if you just acknowledge them for what they are and with
yeah,
them rather than trying to fight it. Just be
yes,
like, okay, let me use these things that I know to better my life. Because I feel like a lot of people, they know what's better for them, what they're supposed to do, what they're supposed to embrace. But then there's a lot of friction that it disables it. Because in the internet age, how many people don't know how to make a YouTube channel or how to do the basic things that they want to do?
right.
Everyone pretty much knows how to get started or a place they know they could go to where they could learn how to get started. Why don't we
Correct.
do that?
And that points to the deeper
Yeah.
things. That right there is the portal to understanding your
Yeah.
universe. And it's just whether one is ready to walk down that path or
Yeah.
not. Either way, even if you're
Yeah.
presented the freaking portal or the door to do that, you might not walk it into it.
You right answer is for you. Like
What's your intuition telling you?
exactly. And the more we can align with that, the better
Yeah.
internally. So, bro,
Yeah.
I think we're both like exhausted in a way.
But
Yeah.
electrified at the
It's
same
so
time.
weird. You know,
Yeah, it's so weird. That's just goes to show you that we definitely covered this overarching topic in a multitude of different dimensions of
yeah.
conversation. But I think it's important that we have gone through all those different avenues because it also reinforces our own subconscious programming.
And we're also
Heck yeah, dude.
practicing speaking this shit.
Yeah,
I
yeah, that's the
Yeah,
reprogramming.
I never had an opportunity where it's like we could speak on it for until completion. I had to
Yeah,
stop and like halfway through because it's too much, and then it's like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's why it's like,
yeah,
oh shit, I had a limit to this. And
yeah. Because I try to
progressive
talk to some people, and it's like, yeah, progressive. I try to talk to this about some people, and it's just like, oh yeah, so what are you trying to eat for lunch? I'm
yeah,
like, okay,
yeah,
fine. I'm hungry
that's what
too.
I mean.
But
We don't get an opportunity to
yeah,
express the authentic truth about what we're going through, what we're feeling. Like that's why this feels important. That's why it's once I got the idea, I'm like, this is the
because we
fucking thing,
created
bro.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we
yeah,
created it. We didn't have the opportunity. It's because we weren't allowing ourselves to really create it for what it should be. We were either trying to talk about it with people that weren't receptive to it or whatever the circumstance
yeah,
might be. But dude, like we created it. That's what you got to
exactly.
do.
Yeah, we
So
did it, bro.
I love this, bro. Thank you for
Of
having me, man.
course. Once I heard
This
you in
is
that call,
sick.
I'm like, dude, I swear that was like the first or second call you ever been a part of, right? The fireside?
Yeah,
Dude.
I think so.
And
I
then
think
I'm
so.
like
I
instantly,
did like another one.
yeah,
Yeah.
I knew. I was like, damn, like I need to talk to this guy more.
Dude, we
Perfect to
definitely will
talk.
be talking again more too, dude. Yeah, you too, man. It's a pleasure, bro. This is sick.
Dude, I'm like, god damn, I'm like scared of how big this can be. I'm like, shit, I can see so much, you know, potential.
You're mirroring how I felt, man. You're mirroring how I still
Yeah,
feel. Why do you think even now, like I have all these videos recorded for my YouTube channel where I want to talk about this stuff and like other dimensions and like dreaming and like how that you can reprogram your subconscious through dreaming and stuff like
yeah,
that. I have a whole thing ready to go, and I'm in my head subconsciously because you're mirroring it for me. I'm like, wait a second, this could get big, and not even that it needs to be
yeah,
big. It could reach two people, but it's the the complexity and the how large this
Yeah.
is, that it's like this can be brain breaking things for people that might not be ready for it. But then we also have to trust that, again, whoever's going to be watching
Yeah.
this, it's not by accident. It's just like this was not an accident. It's not an accident to anybody that watches this, and we have to trust that everything that we've done has led us to this
Yeah.
moment. That's just the truth. So we also have to then
Yeah.
recognize that because of that, this is it, bro.
Because if we
Like,
missed a beat,
this is it.
I would have never met you.
I
Paul,
never,
if I
yeah,
went to the gym at that time, I would have missed the fire. So it's like the
dude, I
fucking
hate that
app,
app.
dude. I swear to
I
God.
hate that app. I can't even freaking see anybody on
I
the
don't know.
app.
And it disconnects me every time I drive. It's some
I know
random
I have to
shit.
hang
Yeah.
up. I have to hang up and then I got to join again, dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's the thing. Perfect timing. And I keep thinking of Joseph
Yeah.
because, again, like
Yep.
synchronicities, the synchronicities, and I'm sure you've seen them too, but like the repeating numbers and like
Dude,
saw
since
333 at the gym
December,
today. Like,
I've been hovering around 222. My weight has been 222.2 pounds. Dude,
shut
I'm
up,
not even
dude.
joking. And I'm like, how like week after week you don't weigh the same? I'm like 3 weeks, like Thursday weigh in, 222.6, 222.3, 222. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I got my like weight app over here, smart scale, and I have the progress. It's literally just been what
Dude, I went,
yeah,
see, that's the synchronicity for me because now you're telling me
yeah,
222, and I received that. When we started talking at the very beginning of this, like you said something, and I looked up at the clock at the timer and it said 111. And then freaking like it follows you around. But those are the little things that nudge you,
yeah.
right? That it's like, hey, you're on the right track, dude. And then that goes to the fourth dimension. We'll
That's
get
another
into that
episode.
because that shit is not an
Yeah,
easy.
dude. What a
Wow,
no
crazy, man.
fuck.
This is just a,
Yeah.
I know. This
It's
is
just
just
like we're
over.
open to see what's inside and fuck.
Pandora's box, brother. We got a lot to cover,
Uh
man.
God damn. All right, yeah.